Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we have some big character news for Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're also going to be talking about Grogu and more. As always my dear friends, before we get into it, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so, and also be sure to give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post a new video. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we're going to start with Obi-Wan Kenobi and some very interesting character news. Jason Isaacs, who voiced the Grand Inquisitor in Star Wars Rebels, may have just inadvertently admitted that he's going to return in the Kenobi series. In a brand new interview with Film, he was very rigid when asked about the possibility of reprising the role again. He said that he cannot even acknowledge involvement with Lucasfilm because of NDAs. Considering his last Star Wars appearance was in 2015, why would he still have to be silent if he wasn't currently involved in a project? Considering the other rumours of Sith Inquisitors appearing in the series, Jason Isaacs' character, the Grand Inquisitor, being a central part of the show would make a lot of sense. Now, just to address something that a few people mentioned, since the Grand Inquisitor died in Rebels, then how can he appear in the Kenobi series? Well, you've got to bear in mind that Obi-Wan Kenobi takes place 4 years before Star Wars Rebels, so he would still be around at this point. And on a similar note, since the series is set to feature a lot of Rebels characters, I wonder if they're going to do something with Kanan Jarrus, a Jedi who died in Rebels, but who would still be alive during the time of the Kenobi series. It's very interesting food for thought, but going back to this article, let's take a look at what Jason Isaacs had to say. Jason Isaacs has been lucky enough to dabble in some huge franchises. Not only did he play Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter film series, but he played Captain Gabriel Lorca in Star Trek Discovery, and voiced the villain known as the Inquisitor in the animated Star Wars Rebels series. However, his time in the Harry Potter franchise is over, at least for now, and the same goes for Star Trek Discovery, but the same might not be true for Star Wars. While speaking with Jason Isaacs about his astounding performance in the Sundance selected drama Mass, Isaacs didn't even try to tap dance around the prospect of making a comeback in animation, or bringing his character into the live-action Star Wars universe. Instead, Isaac said he couldn't even acknowledge the existence of Lucasfilm, and the consequence for asking would be me losing my tongue. When asked about the possibility of bringing the Inquisitor into the live-action Star Wars arena, Jason Isaacs was quick to shut any discussion about that topic down immediately. The actor playfully said, "I can't even acknowledge the existence of Lucasfilm as a real entity. I've signed so many non-disclosure agreements," even when Film tried to be sneaky by asking him what he might hypothetically do with a live-action performance of that character. Isaacs stood strong by saying, "There are no hypotheticals. This conversation is to be entirely avoided." So obviously he's treading very carefully and just wanted to change the subject altogether. This, very much like the recent Mena Massoud interview about Ezra Bridger in the Ahsoka series, is pretty suspicious, and we can deduce that he knows something that he cannot reveal. I personally think that this interview is a pretty good indicator that he might be involved in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the timeline makes a lot of sense. So we could be in for seeing the Grand Inquisitor in live action, and since Deborah Chow is so keen on bringing other Star Wars Rebels characters to live action, and based on Kenobi's position in the timeline, in many ways, this show is going to act as a prequel to Star Wars Rebels. With Rupert Friend rumoured to be playing Agent Kallus, and with the Inquisitor rumours like Simone Kessel and Sun Kang, it's really interesting to see how invested Lucasfilm are in fleshing out that story. Even more interesting is that some of the shows that take place later on in the timeline, like The Mandalorian and Star Wars Ahsoka, are going to act as sequels to Star Wars Rebels. We've already seen Ahsoka and Bo-Katan make their way into live action in The Mandalorian Season 2, and in the Ahsoka series we're going to be getting Sabine Wren, Ezra and Thrawn. And as you guys know, there are also plans to bring Harrison Jula to live action. On top of all of that, my recent scoop, which a lot of outlets picked up on, stated that Kevin McKidd, who voiced Fen Rao in Rebels, was seen on the set of The Mandalorian Season 3. So it does seem like Star Wars Rebels fans are getting more than their fair share of fan service in these upcoming projects. But going back to Obi-Wan Kenobi, if the series is going to act as a prequel to Rebels, then it means that Obi-Wan cannot interact with Darth Maul, who was another character rumoured to make a cameo. If we do get Maul, which I think is a possibility, he's more than likely to have run-ins with Darth Vader because he's searching for Kenobi, but the show can absolutely not show him finding Obi-Wan. Maul finding Obi-Wan takes place later on in the timeline in Twin Suns, which is a Rebels episode. So that's the Obi-Wan Kenobi news, guys. We could be getting the Grand Inquisitor. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's move on to our final topic. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian because one of the most talented concept artists, Brian Matthias, has shared shared that he's been super busy on lots of cool future happenings for Star Wars. And it seems like from this Instagram post, it's going to be related to The Mandalorian. In the post, we see concept art for the Nikto Marauders from season 1 of Mando, and these were the ones keeping Grogu on Arvala 7. And this post makes me wonder, when are Lucasfilm going to explain who these Marauders are and who handed Grogu to them to keep him safe? As we learned from Ahsoka in The Mandalorian season 2, after the Clone Wars, Grogu was hidden. But who would have handed him to these Niktos, and what is their importance? I've always wondered if a Nikto Jedi, of which there were many during the Clone Wars, survived Order 66 and is the one who rescued him from the temple and handed him to the Nikto Marauders. It's a possibility, but I think someone more important than that rescued Grogu. Whether it was Jocasta Nu, Mace Windu, Anakin, R2-D2 or someone like that, I think the real person who rescued and hid Grogu is a much more significant character, but I want them to explain how he got to the Nikto camp and who handed him to them. Alternatively, whoever rescued Grogu lost him and then he was handed to them by someone with ulterior motives. There's just so much mystery to how Grogu got there and who rescued him, but I'm pretty sure that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to show us at the right time. Their planning for The Mandalorian on the whole as a series has been simply impeccable, and they already had Grogu's story written out before season 1 even dropped. They knew his name, his backstory and where he's going, all before we even saw season 1. So there is an explanation out there, it's just a question of when we get to see it. And as I've said in the past, I think we are going to see Grogu in many series, not just The Mandalorian but also in the Ahsoka series. Maybe if we get a Luke Skywalker spin-off he'll be in that. And I'm still convinced he is going to make a cameo in The Bad Batch season 2 or even 3. I truly believe that along with Omega, Grogu is Star Wars' next big character. He's going to pop up all over the place, we could even see him this December in the Book of Boba Fett, but either way he's going to be in a lot of things. I'm personally very excited about this if the story is coherent and makes sense, because not only is Grogu adorable, but there's so much mystery and depth to his character. But otherwise, my dear friends, that brings us to the end of this news update. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new and a huge welcome if you are, and also if you're feeling generous and you want to contribute to the channel and also get exclusive videos not found here on YouTube, then the link to my Patreon is in the description. But otherwise, may the force be with you. I hope you all have an amazing day. I'm Star Wars Meg and I'll see you in the next one.